The umbrella, I guess, for me is just our lack of execution in, a lot of different situations. Things that I know that we've talked about, we've worked on, and, we've got to be more focused in the course of a game, and we've got to communicate to one another.
The NBA season has just begun, and it already feels like the special season we've all been anticipating. Feels like so much has happened in such a short time, and I did my quick scan around the league to get an idea for my next video, and I landed on the Atlanta Hawks. A team that feels like forever ago was in the conference finals. Last season was the epitome of mediocrity, finishing with a 41-41 record. A late season coaching change to go with a bad shooting season for Trae Young. After what felt like an eternity of John Collins trade rumors, the Hawks finally move him, and so here we are, a fresh start with a full off-season and training camp under Quinn Snyder, a coach that I feel is the right guy for the job. Hawks now find themselves 0-2 after a brutal first loss to the Charlotte Hornets and another loss to the New York Knicks at home. And while it's only been a couple of games, I decided to check them out to see what went wrong. This was a team that did not shoot well from three last year at 35%, and were also 28th in three-pointers attempted. And in this game against the Hornets, they were horrible from three. 17.2% from three on 5 of 29 shooting. Trae Young shot 4 for 19 from the field with a 1 for 9 from three, with the majority of his points coming from the free throw line, where he shot an awesome 14 for 15. Some of the shots he took usually result in points for him, but his overall shot selection this game was terrible. DeJounte Murray wasn't any better at 3 for 14 from the field and 0 for 3 from 3, and the bad shooting was just contagious. But despite the bad shooting, it was really the Hawks' defense in the first half that held it down for them. I do have to say, Jalen Johnson was very impressive in this game. Good job on the glass, a couple of steals to go with a block he had on JT Thor, and he finished this game with 21 points, going 9 for 13 from the field. Jalen Johnson is an interesting player at 6'8", very talented with lots of potential, and it just felt like good things happened whenever he was out there these last two games. Something I do notice so far with these Hawks, they'll have really good moments moving the ball, whether in transition or just in the half court, getting really good looks, and then they'll revert to some bad possessions with shot selection that makes you wonder why the hell they went away from what was working.
Why?
Time and time again, just making bad decisions, resulting in tough shots. Trae Young was really trying to find his shot throughout this game, which is something he will often do. But knowing how great of a passer he is, it's just so hard to watch him when he goes shot hunting like this. And more often than not, when Trae comes off the floor, I just see more ball movement in these games. He comes back in and continues just wasting possessions. With 19 seconds left in the shot clock, the Hawks down 7, he took this head-scratching 3, just not valuing the possessions throughout this game. And early in the fourth quarter on this play, he gets off the ball, and right on cue is Jalen Johnson making something happen off the pass from Okongwu. Next time around, Trae gets downhill and finds Okongwu with an alley-oop. And the next possession after that, he gets downhill again, drawing attention and kicking it out to a wide-open Saddiq Bey for one of their 5 threes in this game. And while this may seem like a Trae Young bashing session, he's not the only person to blame here. The Hawks just took a lot of tough shots in general, like this one by DeAndre Hunter. Hawks are down 6 with still 15 seconds left in the shot clock, league average career three-point shooter, and he takes a contested step-back 3. This game just slipped out of their hands in crunch time, which is impressive considering how bad the offense was for the majority of this game. Moving on to their second game against the Knicks, the Hawks have one silver lining from that Hornets game, which is the fact that they still almost won after an awful performance. Although part of that could also be attributed to the fact that they did play the Hornets.
They suck. Yeah.
First home game for the Hawks in this one, and it comes against a tough-playing Knicks team that routinely plays games in the mud, which would concern me if I was a Hawks fan, especially after watching how bad they looked in Game 1. And the shooting slump continued for Trae Young in this one, 4 for 16 from the field, with a whopping 6 turnovers to go with it, with DeJounte Murray so far 0 for 6 on threes after these 2 games. Of course, our expectations for his 3-point shooting are much lower than Trae's, but the Hawks did shoot much better from 3 at 37.5% on 12 for 32 shooting. First possession for the Hawks, Trae uses a Capella screen to get downhill. He jumps up for a kick out to DeJounte, and it just gets them on the right track to keep moving the ball around. Unfortunately, it ends with a contested Hunter 3, but the movement was a good sign. A good sign until literally the next possession, Trae comes off of a handoff from Hunter and takes this awkwardly rushed step back 3, which Dominique Wilkins comments on shortly after.
Last season. Well, I don't think that last shot by Trae, he really had his feet under him, so it was kind of a rush shot.
There was definitely more of an effort to get to the rim in this game, which is clearly going to have to be an emphasis for a team that shoots so poorly from time to time. I'd love to see more pick and rolls between Jalen Johnson and Trae Young because of the pressure Jalen puts on opposing defenses to communicate on his hard rolls, while also having to pressure the ball to deny Trae's shot despite his streaky shooting. Speaking of Jalen Johnson, this was a great defensive possession for him on Julius Randle, really holding his ground and showing his strength while staying vertical for a great contest. And right after that stop, Trae didn't settle for a bad shot and instead got downhill to draw attention for a free kick out to AJ Griffin for 3. Their next offensive possession, we see the same sort of thing, where Trae gets down the lane and finds Bogey for a pretty tough corner 3, but just a simple act of getting to the rim to find something instead of settling for early shot clock shots with no motion. Remember when I said good things happen when Jalen Johnson's on the court? Well, here's another good sequence for him. Poking the ball from quickly to start the fast break and find Saddiq Bey for an easy 2 points. Another good sequence on the offensive side for the Hawks was a typical action I've seen them run a few times now, where Trae gets off the ball to get it right back and take a screen coming from the other side. In this situation from Okongwu, who rolls to the basket to draw attention. DiVincenzo trips over Okongwu, which is what allows the opening for Bogdanovic, and Trae makes the pass right away for a 3. I really like this stop by Saddiq Bey on RJ Barrett, staying with him the entire way and contesting without fouling. And Jalen Johnson gets it going in transition to find Bogdanovic, but after such good ball movement the last few possessions, Bogey pumps and takes a contested sidestep 3 with so much time left in the shot clock. And while he can make shots like that, I just don't like seeing those attempts with so much time left to run some more motion offense. Here's another reason to like Jalen Johnson, recognizing the size advantage and making sure to punish it as quickly as possible.
No, you cannot joke about that.
Yeah, that's not funny.
Here we see DeAndre Hunter bringing the ball up, taking a screen from Okongwu, who continues to roll to the basket. Mitchell Robinson is trying his best to contain Hunter, while also keeping track of Okongwu, who quickly is there to help on. All of this paint pressure causes a good collapse, and Hunter finds Bogey for a 3. After having good moments, Hawks are down 53-49, and right on cue is Bogey taking a contested 3 with 20 seconds left on the shot clock, and the rest of the Hawks hadn't even crossed half court yet. Their last possession of the half ends with guys just standing around, and Trae holding it just to take a bad shot to end the quarter. Coming out of the half is just more bad offense, with this head-scratching DeJounte Murray contested corner 3, with plenty of time left to get better looks. He made up for it on the other end, finding the ball for a quick steal and getting it to Saddiq Bey in transition for 3. Really good defense by DeAndre Hunter holding his ground on RJ Barrett on this one, using his length without fouling for a stop that then leads to this deep 3 by Trae Young. Here's a high pick and roll between Clint Capella and Trae that forces Mitchell Robinson to come out way farther than he'd like to be. Trae reads this like a book and lobs it up to Capella for an easy 2 points. This is a nice sequence to start the fourth with Trae Young snatching a pass and Jalen Johnson goes on a full sprint down court to receive a great bounce pass from Trey for the easy lay. Right away is a nice connection between Bogey and Jalen Johnson off of a sideline out of bounds pass, courtesy of a sleeping DiVincenzo. It didn't take long before I saw another bad offensive possession, with Bogey just taking this deep three with still plenty of time left to do something better. Then in true Hawks fashion, where I've seen a good play after a bad play, followed by a good play shortly after, here's Bogey making up for it by just being in the right place at the right time, giving it back to Jalen Johnson for 2. The Hawks are still within 3 at this point, and this is when DeJounte Murray is at his best, in transition where he can get downhill. He's very comfortable from the free throw line and in, and does make things happen because of the pressure he puts on opposing defenses when he gets inside. Trey checks back into the game, and the very first possession is this deep 3 with about 12 seconds left on the shot clock. No doubt his confidence is sky high, but sometimes it's at the expense of better offense. And just like his confidence can result in bad possessions at times, it also doesn't fade away no matter how bad a night he's having, coming right back down on this play to score and keep the Hawks within 2. After insanely hot 3 quarters from 3, the Knicks were shooting 0 for 8 on 3s in this 4th quarter until this demoralizing Julius Randle 3, and right when you think this game is a wrap, absolute chaos occurs in the Hawks' favor. We get a turnover from the Knicks that results in a foul on Trey Young for more free throws. Trey knocks those down to keep it a 2-point game, and then the Knicks throw it away yet again to give the Hawks another opportunity. Trey Young gets a great head of steam, and what I thought would be another one of his floaters, which might have been a bad idea considering Mitchell Robinson could get a hand on it, he lobs it up to Capella, who then misses his chance. But on the replay camera, Mitchell Robinson actually got a finger on that ball, but Capella just couldn't secure the catch to finish it, and that was pretty much ball game. This was a great night for Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, and RJ Barrett, who were insanely efficient from 3, which is something you're not going to see often, but the Hawks have a lot of cleaning up to do offensively, and yes, it's only 2 games, but very inconsistent in terms of overall execution, showing good flashes for stretches, and then just inexplicably going away from what's working. This team has a lot of interesting guys with potential, but there has to be a buy-in to more team basketball, or else they'll end up with the same results as last year, winning and losing as a 500 team. Thanks for watching this video. This is the All Things Basketball podcast. I'm your host, Vic Lopez, as always, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.